Brian, I mean,
this is amazing. Are you kidding me?
Do you remember the movie As Good as It Gets? Do you remember that he
Jack Nicholson?
Yes.
And he's in a therapist's office. This is great because we just went live, so we're doing the YouTube thing.
Oh, okay. All right.
He's in the therapist's office. He's like, "What if this is as good as it gets?" That's us right now.
Yes.
Oh, look at that. It's working.
Yeah. It looks like we got up 14 people in the chat.
This looks like
Half of them are marks.
This looks like the worst newscast of all time.
It actually feels a little bit more like Storage Wars.
Like it does.
Masking, gap, anything.
Welcome to Aircraft Hoarders.
I don't mind getting up.
in those tubs over there, is there a roll of tape of any kind, like gaff tape or any tape? I don't know if I have any or not, but
framed this lower than I thought it was.
It seems like
Great.
in a hangar
Artist
you'd have
tape,
speed
that'll
tape.
work.
Thank you for not throwing it.
artist tape will work. I'm assuming.
People
I
don't
know what
realize how
you're doing with
trapped
it.
we are in here. Like this is not.
You know what it's for? I use it for. We do have gaff tape
Yeah.
too, if that's helpful. Okay, this is fine. I use it for console tape. That's how you mark your.
Yeah.
How could you be in a hangar and not have speed tape?
No residue.
Look at your mic droop already.
Yeah.
If you're gonna leave it, if it's
Put your foot on here when you pick the arm up. There you go. Now pick the arm up.
you can just kind of.
Further than go twice as far
It's
as
got droopy disease, so we're just gonna have to.
I'm sorry. These are cheap. These are cheap stands. I'm advertising that.
I love how
Okay.
Chris is like, look at this symphonies that I'm
Why don't
these
you-
complex recording scenarios that I'm in now, and like it's 175 channels of
8 minutes.
Dolby Atmos.
8 minutes.
Yeah.
Fine.
Oh, I see what you're gonna do.
Oh. I thought we'd say the first 10 people get a flight design, like
I don't
complex
have
the
anything, I don't
MPP.
think.
Actually,
It's not
I have
10,
jumper cables.
Mr. Ballard. It's actually not 10 people. It's 12 because the eggs come 12 to a pack.
we actually have
Yeah.
some old shirts
chaos.
from the Nobody
Badger?
Cares fly-in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, somebody cold? We got a lot of t-shirts.
No, they're talking about the
Yeah.
first so many people come into the chat. you know,
Oh.
gets-
Badger. Yeah. And Mr. Ballard, who's like, talk about submitting an assignment at the very last minute.
Yes,
Yeah.
How about Luke saving the day as always?
as
Yes.
always.
Yes.
With a little
And Mark.
with a little counter
And Mark.
helping out.
counterbalance.
We cannot
here.
forget Mark.
Flint. Virgil. Hey, Virgil. We didn't say it, but we thought we heard you on the way up. We were in North Carolina trying to save Mark because 3 of 5 flights he can't make. And we thought we heard you on the radio. So we actually looked up your tail number in flight to see if that was you that we heard, and it wasn't. But
Yeah.
that would have been awesome.
It did
if
sound
was.
like you too, though.
Yeah.
In our defense.
Yeah. Total Virgil sound.
Yeah. Let's just run with it and see what happens.
Thanks,
Thanks.
Luke.
Thanks, buddy.
How do I sound, Chris?
Oh well, let me put my headphones on and I'll let you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have any of Chris C's stuff handy?
Yes. Well, the
Mr.
camera's not going
C?
to pick it up.
Yeah.
I will say, Brian, for the post-production effort, you're going to really enjoy cleaning this up.
Oh, yeah.
Is it heinous noise?
There is indeed. I mean, Luke is correct. There is indeed a
Yeah.
60 hertz hum in here.
We can do it in the dark.
I know.
I don't know if the lights would. No, we can't. We have a camera.
Yeah. Yeah. That's not the point.
Just some notches, like forget everything we talked about earlier about how the filters will make everything
GTK.
phasey.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah,
I
yeah.
can't look those up, Virgil. Was that north of Georgia
right.
or not? So, but I did see you were flying too. So, yeah, I'm just gonna talk. I don't know
Tech.
why. We're just making sure that he can see.
This
the
is a
levels
TED
on
Talk,
here.
for those that
And
wanna
yes,
know.
TED Talk. Did you see my door? My mom sent me a door hanger from a hotel that's like TED Talks in progress. So that's on my door to my office because I'm that nerd.
So I'm going to, before we go live, I'm going to give a huge shout out to our listener, Chris C. He made the hosts these awesome dog tags. So mine says, at Ben the Sage. You got the artist.
Hmm?
You
Yeah.
got Sport Pilot. and then the
the
OG.
OG, yeah.
And we got a Wendell Geek. Got his tag. It was Wendell Geek.
Wendell Geek.
Wendell Geek.
Yeah.
Wendell Geek.
And those that are attending tonight's live broadcast got a bottle opener for the 100th celebration. Yay.
Yeah.
And
Thanks,
then
Chris C.
we also got keychains with my tail number and the beast and my home airport. So
Now,
I know you can't see this on camera, but I feel more official showing it to everybody.
for Mark and I, seeing the tail number is good because we keep trying to say our own tail number when we do radio work and somebody else is playing.
Yeah.
We're
I-
gonna
I was
gonna
like November 5.
Mark's call
so
today
many
was
times
golden.
in 14911.
I want to talk about Ted's radio work on the way up here. Maybe sometime at the point of the contact. We got to have a little chat.
Wait till we go live. All right.
Yeah, I'll wait till we go
Yeah.
live on that.
Hey,
You were
Ben,
trying to chum it
Yes,
up
sir.
with
will you use your left hand to address that little knob that is behind your microphone and tilt it upwards slightly so that it is more addressing your face would be helpful.
How you like that?
I like it much better. Thank you for that.
You know what? I like it too, Chris.
Ben, I liked it when you were on frequency today and you apologized for us to the controller. Like, I'm sorry for my friend.
Jeff, who's
that
here
was
in person?
that was at Clarksburg, I think.
Pull this
Luke is
red.
like, fix this.
There you go.
Yeah. I don't have my.
What do you need?
Oh no, I was.
We got all kind of time.
Yeah,
Ted.
we got time. I was gonna show Jeff who's here in person, and I've got time to do that.
Just don't
Really?
move
Is
anything that
that
has a wire
sensitive?
attached to it.
Well,
Yes,
no, but
exactly.
I want you to sound your very best.
No,
I want the best of Ted.
This is as good as it gets. we established that
I
already.
think we might have actually peaked
Yeah.
an hour ago, but
Yeah.
it's just pretty much downhill from here.
Yeah. It's the Balmer curve. Yeah.
That's a good epitaph. I peaked an hour ago.
Shoot, I don't even have a webcam that I can show you this on, but
I came out holding the pill in my hand.
Oh, the
I thought you said an
crowd.
audience is 7,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
about
Pill.
I thought about that.
most of them are us. So yeah.
So you're controlling the camera. That's
No, I'm not. I
Oh.
was just trying to change views,
Oh.
but I don't know why my webcam isn't live, but I really don't care because I don't want it most
we
of
don't
the time.
really need it. Well,
No, it's still not working. Yeah.
Here's a preview, Brian.
I can hear it out here.
so
the next
this guy's
48
such a
hours of your
brilliant
life.
audio engineer.
Yeah.
He'll take that humming and put some background music to it and really
Yeah.
kind of make it jazzy.
That'll be the
and
next
it'll be
LP.
fun.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
He'll make it into a Gregorian chant.
Now we got Ted coming up with another. Oh, look at this.
What's that?
Ted's doing something.
Oh wait. There's hot dogs. Oh, today's been all about hot dogs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
I think I just
We
threw
did
up in my
Woody's,
mouth.
Woody's
Yeah.
hot dogs today.
Woody's hot dogs.
Yeah.
We said we're taking 24 of these things, and
We did
it
good.
was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Diet Cokes and 1 whatever else.
Coke.
Real Coke.
Yeah.
So
I got to say a shout out
Louis
to
Robichaud?
Woody's because those spicy chili dogs,
Pretty
it
legit.
was totally legit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty legit.
If you, for those in the chat, if you're ever in Fairmont, West Virginia, no courtesy cars here yet, but
yeah, well, soon. The
wait.
one you're
soon.
driving,
Well,
actually.
we're driving could be. So
could
actually,
be.
we're
Where are we
breaking in.
driving?
We're breaking in the first courtesy car.
yes.
But go to Woody's, the spicy chili dogs. It's the bomb.
It's true. We're pilot testing the new crew car.
Thank you.
All right. Well, it's 7:59. What do
I
you
say
think?
we do it.
Better than Yan's.
Well, let's not get into
Oh,
that's
oh
a.
boy.
Let's not.
Yeah. Oh boy. Where's your daughter when we need her?
I know.
Yeah. All right. Fire this thing off.
All right, let's go.
We're not gonna be able to hear it. Let's see. That's the right one.
Can you
Okay, you ready?
unmute and hear it on your?
I'll unmute while we're doing it.
Okay.
And Brian gets to edit it later. All right.
Welcome to the Midlife Pilot Podcast. What is it like to become a pilot in midlife? The challenges are unique, but so are the rewards. Hosts Ben, Brian, and Ted talk learning to fly, growing as pilots, and the joy of flying to destinations. The purpose of the podcast is not to teach, but to share knowledge and experiences. You definitely should not take any advice too seriously from an aviation podcast that uses terms like icing on the vegetables. Okay, checklists are complete. Let's get the show started.
Hello and welcome to the Midlife Pilot Podcast, where we share the experiences and challenges of flying in midlife. Whether you're a seasoned pilot, training for private or instrument, or just thinking about becoming a pilot or just getting started in aviation, we like to think of this podcast as your aviation companion and your weekly dose of aviation. My name is Ben. I am a commercially certificated pilot with an IFR rating based in the Atlanta metro area. Fly an airplane we like to call the Beast, a Cessna 182. Joining me tonight, special night. I'm going to start to my right. The audience is left. My friend from the Bachelorette Super Charlie, flying a beautiful Cherokee 180. We like to call Lucy. He likes to call her that especially. His name is Brian Siskin, and it's weird for me that I'm introducing you immediately to my right. Here he is, right here.
So awkward. So
It's
awkward.
so awkward.
There's a reason why we do this remote.
That's exactly
okay?
right.
We can only do this every 100 episodes. Okay.
I'm down with that.
No, welcome everybody and every person that's here. We had a non-event and people showed up for the non-event. This is amazing. And yes, thank you for the wonderful introduction. Before we even get to the next person, I want to make sure that I take a pause here and just say, look, none of us would be sitting here right now if it were not for this man over here, Chris Moran, the original Midlife pilot.
We're going to give him a round of applause.
Yeah.
applause.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
I look, go ahead.
You may not be sitting here on this night. I mean, you would be here as in like the bigger sense of the word. I had nothing to do with that, I assure you. But I'm
No.
glad that you're here tonight.
Well, it does not escape me that we connected via YouTube years ago, started a podcast, and then this has grown to where we've grown it to now. And you're still a part of this as much as you now get to just kind of, I don't know, be a, there's a term for it, right?
He's chairman emeritus.
Yes.
Oh
Yeah.
God. You start calling people emeritus and it's like
He's chairman emeritus. I mean,
Just hang his jersey in the rafters.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, anyway, so I just want to make sure that I wanted to recognize you. Thanks for having us in your hangar, and we'll talk more about how awesome this is and what people can do with all the things that are here.
yes, we will have a big conversation.
And ultimately, I just want to personally thank you because you're a good friend, and we've done this for a while, and it's been a huge boon to my existence and hopefully some others. So, but anyway, but I also want to make sure that we pass on our introductions. So maybe we got another guy here.
We do have one more. He has been my co-pilot and friend. He has come all the way from the West Coast, Portlandia.
The best coast.
Okay,
It's a coast.
that's up for debate. Flying a CTLS, flight design. We like to call that Ed. He's our sport pilot extraordinaire. Hello, Ted.
Hey,
Welcome.
man, what a day.
It's what a 2 days.
What a journey.
It has
Yeah.
been a journey.
Metaphorically and physically.
And figuratively, yes,
Yeah.
definitely. So we're glad you're here. So for the crowd, Ted flew into Atlanta.
I flew commercial to Atlanta.
Commercial
I
is
keep
a
forgetting
good
to say that.
designation. Good point.
Someone flew Ted to Atlanta.
Yes. In a plane that gets slightly less gas mileage than your plane does,
Yes.
but that's okay. You got here in a quick fashion.
Definitely faster.
Definitely faster. And Ted and I decided to leave Atlanta, and then we were going to go to Charleston, West Virginia.
We're going to have a great lunch. We're going to have this great time.
I was
We were looking forward to our day.
hang on. I was kind of stressing out because when we're doing these long trips, I want to go somewhere fun and adventurous, see places I haven't seen before. And on a whim, I looked at Chuck Yeager International, and Chuck Yeager happens to be like the top of the heap of the people I admire the most. I've read his book. He's an incredible human being. Let's go there. I looked downtown. There's a ton of restaurants on the river, just look gorgeous. So I
This
said,
is so great.
and then I reached out to Brian. He's coming in from Nashville. Hey, yeah, we'll meet you there. We'll go and get lunch and hang out, and then we'll come up to Fairmont. So it's going great. Weather's working out well. And then,
Mid-flight.
so wait a minute. We're at 9,000 feet over the mountains, the Appalachian Mountains, and Ted gets a text. As we're having a conversation, do you have reception? Yeah. Oh, look, I got a text from Wendell Geek. But his airspeed is broken. His pitot tube is out. We're giving you a hard time. We love you. he asked, "Can somebody get me?" And if you look on 42911's track
I
from
saved it. earlier.
Atlanta
Yeah.
up to here, there's a right turn in Albuquerque, straight into Charlotte, into Stanley County. We were happy to come pick up because this would not be the same without
No.
him. He is a true mensch. He helps us out. He delivered this hazy IPA to me
with
so-
no grief whatsoever.
with no grief whatsoever.
It
But
made,
no,
it made the day better
It
than we
did.
thought it was going to be.
it did.
Yeah.
So we were happy to make that diversion and pick him up, and then got here in fine fashion. Didn't grease it, but it wasn't my worst landing ever, which typically is what happens when I'm in the plane with Geek.
So there's a part of the story though I never told you guys. So here's I didn't read this text to you that Mark had sent me. I mean, One Dog Geek had sent me earlier. In this thing, he's like, "Hey, I'm going to meet the guys in Charleston for lunch. If you want me to stop in Fairmont and pick you up on the way down." So I'm like, "Well, now I can't. I didn't bring that up, but I didn't get to come to lunch either in Charleston because of that. But we
Well-
are very glad that One Dog Geek made it here.
From Mark to here was also an adventure because you texted us
Oh yeah,
as I don't know if we'd left. I don't know. Were you already in the plane yet? Yeah. So Chris texted us like, "Hey, the runway is closed."
we had a brief closure yesterday.
Yeah.
While they were coming in, and we weren't sure when we were going to get it reopened, but it worked out.
Well,
it opened
so
up.
it worked out better that we went and got Mark
Yeah.
because had we done the original plan, we would be landing in Clarksburg and waiting for the airport to open.
Right.
So, Mark, you saved us.
Yeah.
Everything
you, Mark.
happened. Everything
Mr.
happens for a reason.
Mr. Wendell, anything?
Yep.
Yes.
So we don't have any other events and announcements because the event is going on right now.
It's a non-event.
It's a non-event
Yeah.
event. So you want to
Yeah, I'll hit the
take over
housekeeping
the house
real quick.
Great.
So, look, none of this would happen if we didn't have the support of everybody listening and everybody's enthusiasm. And everywhere we've been, even on this trip, I don't want to make this sound better than it is. Nobody recognizes us or cares, but they do when they hear inevitably that we are doing this podcast. And as soon as they hear the name of it, they immediately perk up and go, "Wait a minute. I started flying when I was 48 years old. I would love to hear more about this. You guys seem like you're coming from the same place that I am." And it's kind of grassroots in that way. So it's just been very cool. Real quickly, I just want to do the housekeeping because, that's what we do. So we're grateful for making this the best pilot community that we know of, a positive space where we share everything from training experiences, shared personal minimums, tackling ownership challenges, reviewing flight plans, and best of all, making new aviation friends, even those out here, right? We've met so many people even just today. It's been so cool.
Yes, man.
So you can connect with us on our Patreon community. It's $1 a month, as little as $1 a month. That's 25 cents per episode. I really want to have some sort of a Sally Struthers style promotional video for this.
For only 25 cents.
It's just please. You can access exclusive content and our Discord community. 10% supports the Freedom Aviation Network's anti-human trafficking efforts. You can watch us live on YouTube, as you might be right now, Mondays, 8 p.m. Eastern. Sometimes we'll even do it in a freezing cold hangar.
My bad.
And, that's pretty cool. And you can share your stories with us at midlifepilotpodcast@gmail.com. We read every message, and you might hear yourself on the show. So for everything Midlife Pilot Podcast, community, feedback, merch, and more, visit midlifepilotpodcast.com. Boom.
Boom.
Good job.
So we've gotten some new Patreon members. I'll go ahead and recognize them now. At the Landomatic level, we got Ben S. And no,
Is that
that's
you?
not
Okay.
me.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's from down under? Was he the one that was from Australia? There's
Somebody.
somebody is from Australia. So if I'm Ben S, if I mess that up, I apologize. We also have Frederick B. We have Mark C. And a brand new one, Ariel H. Just joined today at the Beast level. So, and wait a minute. One just 20 minutes ago.
Wow.
Rescarat.
Oh, hey, Rescue Rat is in the chat.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Welcome, Rescarat. Thank you for your Patreon support. So those are our new members. So thank you, everybody.
Nice.
Alyssa's in the chat saying, we can feed a midlifer
Yes. Yes.
If you can,
for less than 5 cents
if
a
you
day.
give us 25
You know
cents a
what?
day, you can feed a midlifer for a month.
That would feed us at Woody's
It would.
It
That's
probably
right.
would feed us
Yeah.
at Woody's.
Heck yeah.
and be worth it.
Oh yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
So here's a question for the panel.
It is a kind of a panel.
It is a panel. What
Yeah.
what do we want to tackle first? We have things on the agenda. So what do you think?
Hey, we have a little shorty that let's play from Mr. Ballard,
Okay.
who's obviously one of those kids that submitted homework at the very last second. So yeah, we've got a little shorty from Nate here.
Nathan Ballard here. I just wanted to congratulate y'all on 100 episodes. That's a big deal. I certainly look forward to the Monday night live stream for the content, of course, but I really love interacting with the community, both in the live stream and in the Discord server. It's really because of you guys. A pilot in midlife finally has a community of supportive and kind pilots and aviation lovers to talk about flying. Congrats on 100, guys.
Thank you, Nathan. Kind is probably a little too generous with all the grief that I get for my stuff, but that's okay. I'll go with that.
I'm just amazed that someone who's actually a professional flying instructor person who actually knows what they're talking about is willing to even be associated with what we're doing on any level, much less he's using his real name.
Yes. Yeah.
It's
Nathan Ballard.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, he's been a good friend. He's got a great YouTube channel for those of you, especially if you want to become a CFI. He puts a lot of material that are things that are not taught in books that you wouldn't think about if you have a student that freezes up on you, what should you do and things like that. So
well, another one that came to mind recently in thinking about my plane that only has lap belts that I need to do better than. He's got a great video on assuming crash positions and how to put yourself in a good position to survive an impact.
right.
He really does find a way to get into the wrinkles of, I think, areas where a lot of other instructors are making the sort of, okay, here's some power off 180 videos, or I don't know, whatever. He really gets into the nuances that I really appreciate.
I don't know, Brian. It's only $17,000 to put lap belts in your plane. I won't fly in a plane with only lap belts.
We're gonna need another Patreon.
We might need to start a GoFundMe for that one.
We have a new level, the shoulder belt level.
For $17,000, Brian will take you wherever you want to go for 6 months.
Oh my God.
So
They're not 17,000, but it feels like it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So very cool. So Chris, let's hear from you, man. What have you been up to?
A lot of music. You may have heard an indication earlier to this. If you're watching on the stream tonight, you can see the tail barely, but this beautiful 235 sitting behind you could be yours if the price is right. I'm going to work that in all night.
Yes.
Yes.
We need
you
a
should.
ticker.
I know the plane. This plane's in annual. Been doing the club thing. It's doing great. We've got 40 members now, and planes are flying like crazy. And yeah, we're looking to trade this one out for something smaller.
A 235 isn't a good club plane, but it's a fantastic plane with whatever the magic formula for the wing spar is.
Yeah.
This is like on the best side of that.
It is indeed.
We also have somebody here in the audience that you actually beckoned to your flying club, is now a private pilot.
Yeah.
Now an owner. Now part of the
As-
all in.
As Ted says,
Welcome, Bill and Ivy, also known as Stinky Weasel.
Stinky Weasel, Wendell, Geek, JB Alunist.
Yes.
That's we're doing quotes around everybody's names tonight. Like JB.
They're
Alunist.
allegedly here.
Yeah, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah. No, club.
We're a lot of
We're not
people
going
on
to show you
parole
who's
here.
here. This audience is huge back here.
Yeah, you can't
So-
see them because we couldn't find a way to shoot them. They're just such a huge.
Yeah.
We had no lens wide
Literally half dozens of them.
So,
Literally.
Chris, besides pimping an airplane, what else have you been up to?
Working.
Yeah.
Had my first weekend of interaction with federal authorities as an airport authority member on a incident at the airport. That was exciting.
Let's make it clear that you're on the good side of that,
Oh,
not
yeah.
the bad side.
I'm
of that.
representing the airport in an incident, and it was a learning experience to kind of see how that process works, and doing a lot of that.
Can we cut to the chase here, Chris? This is an intervention.
I see.
We all love you.
You want
Like-
to talk to me about flying? Is that what it is?
No, just I mean, you bailed on the podcast. You know, we were like 40 something episodes in. You said, "Look, man, I really would rather do anything else in the world than continue to do this." No, you didn't.
Well, okay, I was going to say.
No. So what has been your favorite part about not being a part of this podcast for the last 60 episodes? Have you enjoyed just watching us flail around, or do you how do you enjoyed just your free time as a result of not having to do this?
And Chris, if you need help with this answer, I can certainly
Yeah.
give you some pointers.
This is a time to air out your grievances.
No, I think that it seems to become a trend in my life that I have enjoyed starting things and then watching them succeed in my absence. I mean, it's been that way in a lot of things.
Yeah.
I mean, the flying club, like I have not flown. I told these guys earlier that I'm not, my flight review expired last month. I'm not even I couldn't fly if I wanted to today, but I've enjoyed watching the club's success and being part of the behind the scenes of watching other people succeed in that way. And it's the same way I feel about this podcast, truthfully.
Yeah.
Is that it's been almost as fun, if not more so, to watch kind of what it has turned into since I left. I mean, there's a lot of satisfaction that comes from starting a thing and then breaking down and handing off to others and then watching them do better with it maybe than you could have on your own. Like I get a lot of satisfaction out of that.
So in the way that I got the artist tag from Chris C, you got the sage, and then Ted got the what?
Sport pilot.
Yeah, I think it was sport pilot.
But you're the conductor, and so you were showing us
Literally the
symphonic music
conductor.
that you're conducting and recording and helping and playing in and being a part of, and
Yeah.
it really is something I think that is native to your way of being. And the cool thing is I love that you're still so involved in the aviation community, and it's not, I don't think, a loss on anybody to say that's really so much of what it's about.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm not done. Like I said, I told you guys
Yeah.
earlier, like I still, every time I fly, I love every second of it. And I just want to get to a place where I have the time to dedicate. I want to be flying regularly. I don't want to be the guy that comes in once every 2 months and says, "Oh, if I'm going to carry a passenger, I better get my 3 landings in." And I'm flying the airplane. I got an hour every 90 days or something. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to be in that. I don't want to put myself in that position. I want to be, when I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it when I have the time to stay proficient and be good at what I'm doing. Like that's more important to me.
So I think there's something that we can all learn from that. There may be a point in time where you lose your medical or something happens to your plane and you lose your ride. You've shown that there's a lot of other things that you can do inside of aviation that can keep you connected to it and more importantly, keep you connected to the community.
Absolutely.
And I think that's great.
Alyssa Miller in here. After growing up as a new student, watching Chris train, it actually hurts hearing he's not current.
Yeah.
And it happens.
Yeah.
We don't. Okay, we actually do, but we don't have a scoreboard that says, here are the top hour pilots in the midlife community.
Yeah.
Like it's okay. It doesn't.
Yeah. It's totally fine.
It's so great to come out here and see
It-
you.
I-
It's not like, oh, we're not going to see Chris anymore.
It shouldn't hurt, Alyssa.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt me. I mean, I look at it like this. I mean, it's not like I have to. The process to get back is not like I have to recertify and take my check ride again. I mean, the process back is I'll spend a couple hours with my CFI, do a couple flights, and then get my endorsement and be back at it just like it was before it ever happened. So this is not
Yes.
this is just the state that I find myself in, but I'm still around. It's very good.
Also, as midlife pilots, we're in that place where, as I say all the time, we don't have to
We don't have to.
do this at all. This is an incredible privilege, extra thing that we really get to weave into our lives and our way of being. And honestly, I would say a huge portion of what I've enjoyed most about aviation is how it has informed other aspects of my life, how it's given me a particular framework of thinking to look at other endeavors. And when you've survived learning how to land, there's a lot of things that all of a sudden open up as feeling a lot more possible or maybe a little
So-
achievable.
2 quick things. First, to your point, Chris, your pilot certificate never expires. You can come back anytime you want.
Right.
And in our live audience, Stinky Weasel has made a comment. Chris has become the ghost from Field of Dreams. If I build it, they will come. Then tells me I'm doing good, kid, and then fades away.
I also gotta read Rescue Rat here. Rescue Rat, who just signed up for the Patreon like
30 minutes ago. Yeah.
Said discover this podcast earlier this month while searching for a Cessna 140 content. After winning a 140 in the Wings of the North sweepstakes,
What?
I found the episode talking all things tailwheel and hooked.
There you go.
Rescue Rat, I don't know where you live, but
So
Brian and I are both coming out.
So
and borrowing your
Rescue
mic.
Rat, Brian is very mad at you for winning a 140 because
Yeah.
he's talking about how he's going to try to buy one.
Yeah.
But
I don't know how that's gonna work, but yeah.
that's awesome, man.
Would a 235 do?
It's about 95 more than I can even think about.
Technically, any plane's a tail wheel if you treat it right.
Yeah,
That's right.
you can land it as a tail wheel once, anytime.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
no, that's awesome.
Ivy here, it's nice to see you still connected to the community, Chris, and cheering everyone on. Thanks for being authentic.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's
The-
awesome.
And
So
also, your videos, Chris, are still on the internet and still inspiring people and still connecting people and making people feel like it's possible to take it on in midlife. Unless you haven't deleted them, right?
Heavens no.
Yeah. So
no,
there's a lot of
it's-
really good stuff. Always go check out the Midlife Pilot YouTube channel, and that's how you and I first connected, and that's how this all came to be ultimately. So it was your urge to document and share all that really was the thing that has continued to be echoed throughout.
It's also interesting to me. You made a mistake, Brian, in showing me, how each episode is ranked, and
Of our podcast?
of our podcast,
Yeah.
and our still by far and away the best performing episode was you and Chris, episode number 2, the challenges of flying in midlife.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like the baseline, in my opinion. Y'all, the one before that was very good, but I think it was filming and flying.
Yeah.
But it kind of encapsulated everything that this whole community is about. And it is far and away above any other episode that we've ever done. So,
I've got a clip from Badger to play here.
okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
he is actually our one of our advanced students. He sent in his clip first. Let's play that one.
Mr. Pilot, I wanted to send audio on behalf of the Flying Midwest crew, congratulating you on 100 episodes. You found a unique niche in the podcast space that expands beyond its intended theme, and your dedication to weekly episodes is no small accomplishment. For listeners who may not realize, the time and effort involved in creating a 1-hour episode goes well beyond what you hear in the final product. Know that you have a gem here, with consistent quality content and no sign of slowing down. Personally, I've been following the Midlife Pilot podcast since the very beginning after becoming a fan of Chris's YouTube channel. I became a financial supporter in one way or another since episode 15 back in May of 2022. At the time, I was considering joining a flying club that had a Cherokee 235, and Chris was kind enough to share the POH for his 235 with me so I could learn more about the plane before even joining the club. This community-first mentality is exactly what the Midlife Aviation Group is all about, sharing experiences and knowledge for the betterment of all in aviation. To Chris and Brian, thank you for igniting a spark on such an awesome aviation community. To Ben and Ted, thank you for keeping the spirit of the podcast going while adding your own unique experiences. I've enjoyed the evolution of the podcast throughout the years and look forward to seeing what the next 100 episodes have in store. Congratulations, guys.
Awesome.
Holy cow. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, man. That's awesome, Badger Pilot. Ted and I got to spend some time. I almost thought you came with us.
At RH. Yeah.
All right,
Do you
but you're not
remember
all right. Philip. No, I'm teasing. We got to spend some time with the Midwest Flying podcast crew. They do an awesome job as well. I do want to give a major shout out to them. You know, the podcast community has been really, really, really awesome. We talk a lot about the posing bases guys. Those guys are, to me, on par, if not better than, where everybody else is. They've got their unique niche.
Yeah.
We try to support each other. We just have a good time together.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's there. I mean, we're all doing
We-
the same thing.
We had this crazy meetup this summer, and with opposing bases and the I
Midwest.
say that all the time.
Midwest,
The
yeah.
Midwest group, and that was really cool. And I love that we can all kind of talk and we all kind of DM and text and everything else. And all the shows are different, and it's fine. It's great to talk to them, and I love talking to Badger. So yeah.
Yeah, and Jim has
Oh,
a
Jeff
separate
was
one.
there, yeah. Jeff
a-
was there. AJ was there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It was a lot of fun. Jim also has a fly the transition. So if you're going into commercial aviation, he's got a great podcast for that. Lots of info about what's going on in the marketplace and things
Yeah.
like that. So, Badger, thank you very, very much for that, man.
Yep.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
And he's right. You know, you and I just came into this midway. It really is all about the community.
Well,
Yeah.
let me just say this. Chris and I, let's just be honest, Chris, we started this podcast and we put some effort into it, for sure.
Some.
We put a little bit of effort into it.
Yeah, we did.
You know, but we were not perhaps as organized as we could have been. And it was not, you know, there were times where we would figure out pretty last minute what we were going to do. I think you and I kind of roll like that better anyway. But when you decided that you needed to do anything else with your life than be a part of this podcast anymore,
Get as far away from Brian as
Yeah.
possible.
It was
when,
enough.
when
It
your
was
therapist
enough.
recommended that you not be a part of this anymore.
Yeah.
Note to self: email Chris to find out how I get out of this.
I know a guy.
When I got when your therapist got your hostage video.
Well, now
no,
we've crossed the
Blink
line.
twice.
No, I was definitely in a position, and I know that you were concerned. You felt badly in the sense that I really need to put this energy into other things, and I feel like you felt like you were kind of leaving me a little high and dry. And I remember that conversation very well. And after I don't know, I called you a lot of names, I'm sure. No, I didn't say anything like that. But no, we had a really great conversation, and I already knew exactly in that moment what the next step was, and that we certainly were not going to let this thing go away. And so, Ben and Ted, you guys have been a part of the community, and we've done flying things together, and we've done all this. You guys, now Chris has broadcasting experience. I have prior podcast experience on some level and some other media type of experience. You guys, the ask here was huge.
Zero experience.
No experience,
Yeah.
Which may or may not be, I don't know, it's
Yeah.
evident to
Yeah.
people.
Unencumbered
But
by experience.
people are like, wow, this is really enlightening. Tell me more. No, but it's when Badger is saying he really appreciated that we're doing this every week, and that's a bit of an effort. Boy, is it.
Yeah.
And at the same time, Ben, you've always said to me, I look forward to it every week. And Ted, you've psychically said the same thing. No, but
Yes.
you guys have stepped in, and then we doubled down on it, and
Yeah.
then we went and took off with it, and it has accelerated, and our growth has been really strong. And I think the value that we've been able to contribute has been greater because we have more skills to kind of distribute and make all this stuff work. And so I just want to thank you guys for
I appreciate that.
picking that up.
Yes,
You know,
absolutely.
when we had the first meetup in the Outer Banks, I remember you had used the phrase, "We're a small but mighty community," and now I like to think of it as we're just less small.
Yeah.
Remember, we're not huge, but
Yeah.
it's still a wonderful community. Nathan had mentioned it in his audio feedback there, and Badger Pilot did a really good job. If you can do a quarter a week, a dollar a month, the Discord server for me, if they kicked me out the door right now, which I wouldn't be surprised
We
if they
can't
did.
get you out of here. We can't get ourselves
I-
out of
You're
here.
Trapped.
Yeah.
You've got me. My
Yeah.
point is that's worth the value of anything. It's my form of social media now. I
Well-
might get on a little Instagram, but I spend most of my time on the Discord server, and I'll go back and read different things.
It bothered me because it's like we'd get together for the podcast, and just the live stream would just blow up, and we'd be in there chatting and everything else. There's nowhere else to go, and it's so cool to have somewhere that we can go and talk and get long threads and discussions and what did Mark do wrong with weather and what did Mark do wrong with his pedo tube, and I mean, it's like it's been great for
And
that.
also we learn a lot from Mark. So
We
come
do.
on. Yeah.
So just Mark, now you know how I feel when I get a hard time about my landing.
Yeah.
Welcome to
coming
my
back,
world.
I'm coming back to the Discord server actively because I want to have more discussions about engine leaning. Because I haven't had enough. I haven't had enough engine leaning discussions this weekend.
I was going to say, let's go.
Luke, call your A&P again.
By the way, we also have a friend of the show here, and I want to give a shout out to Bearded Aviator. Mentioned this in the comments. Luke is here with us, who's helping us on the technical side.
He is not responsible for the 60 hertz hum that
He is not responsible for that.
Clarifying.
But he's got a YouTube channel called Luke's Landings, and
Landing. It's
Luke's Landing. My bad. I see it now.
It's just a whole channel.
Hey, guess
with one
what?
land.
You know what? It's going to be in the show notes.
That's the
So
only
don't
thing in the
listen to
show
me.
notes so far. Yeah.
It will be in the show notes. Luke's Landing.
What did I say? It sounds like an 80s sitcom about
for sure.
yeah, it's like a little, it's like, yeah.
It is hysterical. It's funny. It's beautifully shot and beautifully edited, and I do mean that.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it. So,
and he's the most hilarious guy.
he has had us
So
cracking up the entire 2 days. So, thanks for joining us, and thank you for your help. And please go check out his channel because it is. I will say this: when I get notification that you posted something, I pretty much drop what I'm doing to go watch it.
So we went to, side note, we went to dinner last night, the group of us, and my wife and daughter went out to dinner. And when we got home, my daughter said, said, I had the best seat in the house. And I said, why is that? And she said, because we sat right across from Luke and Ben. And so
man.
like she thought she had the best time. Like that was the best seat in the house.
It's probably
sitting right-
more Luke than me. I can promise
Yeah.
you that. It's the accents. That's right.
Yeah.
I told Brian, I said, thank God you brought somebody who knows how to talk. So, anyway,
Hey man, I can code switch.
come on now.
We were in the plane today. It was me and Ben and Luke, and this woman was saying river, and I was pointing it out, and these guys were saying, "We didn't hear it." Like
What are you
river.
talking about, Ted?
And she
She's
kept
saying it the
saying it.
normal way.
Yeah.
River.
And she said probably 20,
River.
30 different calls, and they're from like, "Oh yeah, I can hear it now." It's like,
I
River.
guess I see what you mean.
river. Yeah.
Well, you're in West Virginia, so that
I
is
love
that
it.
is how we say river.
I love it.
West by
Yeah.
God, Virginia.
Oh, real quick, we should also say Fairmont Airport is amazing.
Oh,
This is one of the
Alright.
coolest airports I've ever been
hang
to.
on.
If
I
not
got
the coolest.
to give. So everybody knows about Chris's YouTube videos and learning to fly here. What you don't know is this is not an easy airport to learn how to land in. Stinky Wizzle, God bless you, sir. I mean, if you can learn in this airport, land.
It's tricky.
I always respected the content that you posted, but having flown this a couple of times now, oh my God, man, it's the real
Yeah,
deal.
it's
And they
tricky.
keep moving the runway.
It's tricky.
We came in on 2-3, and there's a river.
What is it? A
River.
River.
there you
Come
go.
on now. So,
River.
and it's pretty down. I mean, it's a pretty good drop off
Yeah.
from the edge of the runway down to the river. And I was coming in on yesterday, and usually when I get a sink, I can push the throttle in a little bit, and I'll arrest the sink. Well, yesterday I was coming in, I pushed the throttle in a little bit, and we're still sinking. I push in a little more, I'm still sinking. And finally, man, I just like had to give it the beans to stop it. And we got over the threshold, and there you go. And then, it's a real thing.
It's a real thing. Yeah, it is.
I was sweating a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah, it is.
That's gonna be the new Apalachicola.
Yeah. Give it the
The
beans.
Give it the beans.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did I? I didn't start that, did I?
No,
but you
but you
put it on the pod.
Okay,
So
okay.
yeah.
You started it here.
I've not
Yeah.
heard it.
Wait,
I mean, I've
no,
heard it plenty other
Hey,
places.
people say it. It's a
Okay,
thing.
It's a thing.
Do you guys know anything about giving something the beans?
Yes.
You never
thank
heard
you,
this?
Stinky Williams.
Give it the
How-
beans.
How far does
Yeah.
giving it the beans go?
Yeah, I guess it's a regional thing. It's when you give
Yeah.
it full throttle. Is
Okay.
Thank you, Stinky Weasel. You and I'm liking you more and more as time goes on.
Yeah.
Should we get another? You got one more?
Yeah, we got one more. Well, we got two more
Two
clips
more,
here.
actually.
But yeah, let's play something from RH. This was by special request of me. that RH of Opposing Bases sent something in.
So you basically stuck a gun to his
what
head
you
and say,
said?
"I need you to record
Yeah,
something for us."
Did you say I need you to say something kind about our 100th episode? And did you write
Is
it?
that really
Did
what
you
happened,
write it
Ted?
I
for him?
sent hundreds to him and said, say something.
Okay,
So, but
that's
similar.
fair. That's
Yeah.
fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ryan and Ben, congratulations on 100 episodes. It seems like yesterday Ben was having a major audio malfunction on live TV while Brian and Ted laughed at him. You've all come so far. I really enjoy listening to your show because I'm kind of like a midlife pilot myself. In my mid-40s, I started flying again, but this time instead of wondering what to say on the radio or how to join a traffic pattern, I'm trying to figure out how to log on to CPDLC, or calculate takeoff data, or how to lower the nose gently after landing. We're all in the same boat, and the stories you guys share are reminders that we are all human, we all have to work hard to be better aviators, and most importantly, our love of flying is the one thing we all share in common. Congratulations on your first 100 shows. May you find a way to keep turning out such high-quality, engaging episodes for years to come. I'm happy to support the show and to call you guys friends. Romeo Hotel. P.S. Alpha Golf said congratulations too.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So I've known him. I started listening to him probably like around episode 20, and he invited people to come to a GSO tower, and we just kept crossing paths, and we've formed this friendship. And, I told him, I was like, I got asked to host this podcast, and, I don't think I have he goes, dude, he was so supportive of me the entire time and has been ever since. And they mentioned us on one of their episodes not that long ago, and we had a spike. They've just been so supportive, and the only thing I can say to anybody listening to this right now is if you're not listening to their podcast, you're not learning anything. They do a really really good job. So
I find it interesting that he gets any value out of what we are doing, because when I listen to what they're doing, I learn so much, and a lot of times I don't know what they're talking about. And I'm trying to figure.
Yes.
Like, it's actually beyond me.
Yeah.
There's not a single pilot that has ever listened to any episode of our podcast and thought to themselves, "This is beyond me, but I'm gonna keep listening."
Now, we've had lots of explainers about
yeah.
here's what you're doing wrong. And,
Yeah.
like if you actually want to learn how to fly, these are things you could do. But yes,
Those guys are just so complicated.
yeah, they're great.
They're
Yeah.
talking about really deep,
Yeah.
obscure
Yeah.
things.
And sometimes they talk funny, like timely feedback and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah, we don't have any funny voices.
Yeah,
Some people have a phone that
Other
blows
than
up and says
Ben.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's that was really nice. So thank you, RH and AG,
Yeah,
man.
very
We
cool.
love you guys. So.
Absolutely. I mean, and by the way, one other thing real quick is when you're talking about other people being and mentioning us, and I know you said it in passing, but when they say you should listen to this podcast, the Midlife Pilot podcast, and it's valuable, and they actually I think they mentioned a specific episode, and they spoke to why it was insightful to them, or what they thought would be a shared value with their audience. It's incredible to sense that that symbiosis, and to feel that camaraderie, and to feel that energy kind of going back and forth. And
Yeah.
it does take a lot of energy to do what we do. It takes probably more effort to do what they are doing, and they've been doing it for they're almost
353 episodes.
Yeah, maybe 360.
and so we're here we are at 100. We've been on about a 60 episode sprint weekly, and
It feels like so much longer.
So here's even more incredible. They've not missed a week.
Yeah.
So they've been doing this, I think, since 2018, and they have not missed a week. They last week they recorded back-to-back episodes so they could release one this week.
Yeah.
But to me, that's an Iron Man right there.
while RH is doing Herculean training and life transitioning to a new career and all of that. I mean,
Flying international and coming back and still recording.
yeah, maybe they're all AI and we don't know.
That's very possible.
Ben, do you need another beer?
Yeah.
Do you need one dog geek to bring you another beer?
Yeah, because right now, so
Wow,
hey,
you should see that.
so
You know what? Speaking of,
wait a minute. So I came up with a brilliant solution right here, Chris.
I saw it. No, I get it.
I was
Propping up
pretty
his
proud of
microphone.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Propping
so
the mic up. So
Ben's propping up his microphone because it kind of has this sagging problem with his beer.
I-
The problem with that is that you can get
it's we
So,
make sacrifices,
here.
Ted.
Yeah.
We all make
That's empty. He
sacrifices.
can have that.
Yes, I
Yes.
have the limpy stand syndrome,
Yes.
so I'm gonna let the chat have all the fun they want to with that
Oh
one.
boy.
But speaking of fun and rants,
Yes. And Mark, for that matter.
and Mark for that matter.
Our first submission for the 100th was by request. Actually, we requested that Mark send in one of his signature rants, and he did. And it gets even better than that because he's like, "So you ready to play mine?" Like, I kind of forgot about it. I don't even remember what it's about or where the file is. So,
As a precept, we should also share that this is about as midlife as it gets, because the whole inspiration for this was Andy Rooney,
Yeah.
and how those segments would fit into 60 minutes.
Yeah.
And so this is, thank you, Mr.
Yeah.
Geek. You are our Andy Rooney.
But a funnier version.
all right, let's fire this up.
Brian, Ted, I'd like a word. And today, that word is numbers. Specifically these: tree, fower, fife, niner. Actually, there's more. According to NATO, a group who is so infallible that we should definitely let them regulate speech, instead of 1,000, the NATO phonetic alphabet has 1,000. The more you know. My airplane is November 9070 Whiskey, and for the first half of a year, I would say 9070 Whiskey. But I mostly don't do that anymore. I think the reason for niner is that 9 sounds an awful lot like the German word for no. And by an awful lot, I mean exactly like the German word for no. So if a German air traffic controller asked, "Say souls on board," and you responded 9, there's confusion about what was meant. Did you mean there are between 8 and 10 souls on board, or are you refusing to answer? Fair enough. If you're going to be flying around Germany. I'm not sure what benefit we get in the US of using niner over 9. I've noticed that the vast majority of controllers simply say 9070 Whiskey.
November 9070 Whiskey, Charlotte, altimeter 2985.
9070 Whiskey, squawk 5215.
November 9070 Whiskey, Charlotte, departure out, Charlotte, altimeter 3011.
So that's what I say. Well, sometimes. In searching for those clips, when I was doing the check-in, I said niner in all of them.
Charlotte, approach Cherokee, 9070 Whiskey, 5000. November 9070 Whiskey, Charlotte, altimeter 2985.
We're approach Cherokee, 9070 Whiskey, just off Greenwood Airport. Would like to pick up my IFR.
9070 Whiskey, squawk 5215.
Charlotte, approach Cherokee, 9070 Whiskey, runway heading off Stanley County, 2300, climb 4000.
November 9070 Whiskey, Charlotte, departure out, Charlotte, altimeter 3011.
Okay, so like one of my favorite characters, Hobie Brown?
I don't believe in consistency.
That said, can someone explain why we need to say tree, fower, and fife? I honestly can't remember ever hearing anyone say fower, but I hear tree and fife fairly regularly. And when I hear anyone on the radio, whether pilot or controller, read an altimeter setting as tree 01 fife, the first thing I think is, that guy is probably incredibly annoying at a party. I get it. That's what we're supposed to say. I have no idea why, but that's what we're supposed to say. But with the exception of niner, I just don't. And the vast majority of others don't either. And here's the question. Why are we supposed to say that? If we're worried about the random German getting confused by 9, shouldn't we be worried about the random pilot talking about a tree? Or possibly an instrument that's called a fife? Yeah, okay, I looked that last one up. I didn't know there was such a thing. So sure, fife is hard to confuse with anything else. But is 5 easy to confuse with something else? As I sit here typing this, I spent a few minutes trying to figure out what could be 5 other than a number, and I came up blank. I looked up words that rhyme with 5, and I'm not sure we're going to have a lot of controllers wondering where runway 2 chive is, or maybe someone will confuse 3-5 with beehive? And even if that happens, it seems like it's going to be infrequent enough to allow for an occasional, say again? If you ask me, which, by the way, no one has, tree, fower, and fife are pointless, and I just can't get myself to use them. And if anyone from the FAA is listening, my full name is Brian Bartholomew Siskind. Speaking of arbitrary numbers, we count based on the fact that we have 10 fingers. So as soon as we get past 9, we add an extra digit so that we can keep going. If we get 10 groups of 10, then we need another digit to get us to 100. But that's just arbitrary. If we'd had 16 fingers and instead counted in hexadecimal, 100 would be 6-4. In octal, e.g. if we had 8 fingers, 100 is 144. If we're counting in binary, 100 is 1100100. Or we could count in base 12, if we had 12 fingers. In that case, 100 is A1. And if you're trying to figure out how a letter can be a number, I leave that as an exercise for the listener. Here's a hint. Find your favorite computer nerd. He's probably the same guy who's annoying to talk to at parties. In any case, you guys have added a third digit to the count of podcasts that you've produced. Regardless of the counting system used, that's a lot of episodes, and it's worth celebrating. Congratulations. I look forward to the next 1100100 episodes. Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
Everyone but 7 people missed all the laughing that happened as that was playing in
great.
here, and we have terrible audio to play that in here, but we still had a great time with that. So.
That was awesome.
I gotta say, this is the group here. This is the group in the podcast that's on the thing. But I almost can't imagine these non-event events without One Dog Geek around.
Oh yeah,
he's essentially part of. Yeah, you got to come back here. He's essentially part of this group. He's been everywhere we've been, and needs to come be on camera and say hello. That was legendary.
It really
Hilarious.
Was. That was the best one yet.
Yes,
without a doubt.
That was the Alpha 1 Niner.
And we've already during the last 24 hours, we've already given him fodder for maybe 1 or 2 more rants for future episodes.
Yes, that's true.
Yes, so
That's true.
He's like, I'm living it right now.
Yeah.
One of them will be A&Ps.
And the other is we'll just save that for the podcast.
Yes.
We'll just save that. But no, huge support for us. And we keep talking about a Discord community, and Mark actively manages that. And what he's done is he keeps it in a uplifting and in a welcoming environment. If somebody gets out of line, he's kind of the one that goes and say, we don't tolerate that here. You can either do that somewhere else or, straighten up and fly right. He does it in a very communal, very easy manner. And
that's been very rare because the tone has been just kind of managed and self-evident. So people know when they get in there that this is a good space and what we're about and what we're
I
not
think
trying
it's
to
only
get
happened
into.
maybe once or twice.
Yeah.
But
I think he only ordered pizza to somebody's house a couple of times.
As far as you know. But no, he really is
Pepperoni SWAT.
As we like to say in the tribe, he's a true mensch.
Well, thank you. I
Yes.
appreciate that, and I love the community. It's great fun.
Yep. So.
And now I'm going to get away from the microphone before I do something stupid.
Yeah, Mark.
Oh. Thanks, Mark.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Ted.
Welcome back, Ted.
To explain how much a big deal Mark is in this, we kind of think of there being 5 people involved with the podcast, and so when we got an Airbnb here, we made sure there's four rooms for it, so that Mark had one.
Right.
Because it's it doesn't matter on the mic or not. It's a big deal for us. So, and Mark's over here just hating this. Yeah.
Also, Mark is the only other person that gets up as early as I do. So when we do end up in these trips, I end up being the person that we get to talk at 5:30, and he sees me drink 5 cups of coffee, and he endures me being wound up and enthusiastic. It's like the 1 hour of the day where I'm very enthusiastic.
So, and I got to witness a little bit of this much later. I came down much later, but I know Mark just turned that key to get him wound up when we got into you need to pull the mixture back at full. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go get my coffee and go back upstairs because this one's going to run for a while. But no, more on that later.
When Mark Bush starts.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yes.
So no, that was really awesome.
Yeah.
So
really appreciate that.
We want to talk about what we did today?
Yeah, we can hit that real quick. Yeah, we got about 10 more minutes.
Okay.
We've got to write an SRS about it anyway, so we might as well talk about it.
Yeah,
right?
no, it's true.
Wait a minute.
Did you do something wrong?
I'm just
Again?
sure we did.
Oh.
See, that was a joke.
This
I
is the
tell you what,
first
as
first
soon as
event
we
we've
figure
had.
out what we did wrong, we'll go back and look at the footage because we had 30 cameras on 2 planes, and so I'm sure we'll find something. There was a little bit of excitement.
This time there was more cameras than NASA reports.
It's a step in the right direction.
Allegedly.
No, we took off from Fairmont, and while Brian was finally putting some air in his tire and charging his nose strut, we went up to the northwest of the airport and just we did some slow flight and maybe a few steep turns just to kind of play around on the 182, and then we did a low approach, and Brian was able to take off, and we flew down to Clarksburg, which was a beautiful little airport. Annoyed the controllers maybe a little bit.
Oh man,
yes, you did.
Yeah, because I apologize for y'all's radio calls. I think.
Yeah,
I think that's what it was.
Mark was conflating my tail number with your tail number, making an all new hybrid tail number.
Right.
It's like a Cherokee 182.
No, it's a Skylane 16 Lima or something like that. Yeah.
Yes.
I fly a Cherokee 182 now with a skull kit.
That's okay. I am 50% of the time I'm an experimental because I have no idea what to call me.
Yeah.
I don't correct them. So yeah.
So and then we did a stop and go there, and it was fun. We were coming in on approach. We had a hard time spotting your airplane, just the way the haze was in the sky. All 3 of us. We had 3 of us in the plane, and it's not just me. It was just really kind of hard to spot. And we got you in time. There was plenty of spacing, and I'm coming in. I actually left too much spacing because you're taxiing back to take off again, and I saw that you stopped like
on the taxi.
Controller did not like that.
Yeah, a quarter mile short of where you needed it to be.
Controller did not like that.
Knowing that you're going to film my landing.
He was like, say intentions. Do you want an intersection departure? Like, what are you doing? I was like, and Mark's like, we're filming our friend. I just started. I hit the throttle.
Oh, I'm going to pull the tape. I'm going to pull the tape. Oh my God!
That's going to make it to a video.
How am I just hearing this?
So
I'd have had the audio.
So
already.
then,
Tower.
So we land, we taxi back, they take off, and the controller gives me a frequency change, and I said, "I'm so sorry about that," or something like that.
Sorry for my friends.
Sorry for my friends.
Yeah.
So then we go up to Morgantown, and another beautiful airport. Never been there before. I was really excited to get in there. That was a pretty easy runway to get into. I think, Chris, we had the older controller that you're referring to.
Oh, good. I don't know his name, but he's an old dude.
Here's the weird thing.
Do you guys know who that is?
Yeah, he was awesome. But here's the thing: we were parked right below the tower, and I call him up on ground, and I'm like, we've got weather. We're VFR taxi southbound.
You should have heard what it sounded like, Ben.
That's what he was saying.
I heard it. It was like,
and he kept saying, "Aircraft calling in. I can't hear you."
And then Luke, you looked over at me, and you were like, "I was like, we could." Yeah. Oh, and that was what? No, then he called you my tail number.
That's where I'm trying to go with.
Yeah.
So he says 5116 Lima. You can taxi to runway 18 via Alpha. And then so I'm looking over at Brian, going, "Well, why isn't he taxiing?"
Yeah.
And then I'm like, "Oh, I think he means me."
Yeah.
And so we taxi out.
You're the one that just made the call that had not been responded to.
I didn't know if I was on the wrong frequency, and you called on the other frequency or something. Anyway, so we get away from the tower, and he goes, "We do have some airplanes that have our antenna for the COM2 radio is under the airplane," and we were right below the tower.
I see.
Yeah. And he said that there was, what did he call it?
He said you were splashing or something.
Splashing or something. And it garbage. As soon as we pulled away from the tower, everything was fine.
I mean, we were 20 feet from the tower. Like
literally, we were right below it. Yeah. And he said, "Did you ask for something?" And I was like, "No, we're just a VFR parts of the South." He goes, "Oh, okay." He was really cool about it. I'm not knocking him.
And after that, he said, "Now I've got you Fower by 5."
Yeah, I don't know.
Fife.
I don't know if he
Fower by 5.
Yeah, Fower by 5.
When he did catch your tail number and he couldn't hear the rest of it, but he basically gave us clearance to taxi.
He said, "Whoever you are, just get to the end of one."
Yeah, like so legally
go
speaking,
find your friend and GTFO.
Right. Legally speaking, we were cleared. So
it was. He was really cool about it.
Yeah.
I know a lot of controllers that would not have been nearly that cordial about it.
And we were mucking up the works for a student pilot solo. I felt really bad because she got extended on downwind. And it was just like
I kind of feel bad, but she needs those challenges.
Nothing
probably.
ever happens on a student solo.
Don't mess
one
with
step at a time.
don't mess with student pilot solos.
Yeah.
Okay.
It never goes bad. Yeah.
That's right.
No, so we take
don't
off.
Don't tempt things.
So we take off, and there is was it a stationaire or a 208 that was doing survey work or
208.
The 208
on final too.
On final of Fairmont runway 23. He was literally doing circles around the final approach,
like 7 miles under the final.
And I'm like super hyper focused trying to find this airplane, and Luke chimes up from the back seat.
Well, we're about 400 feet off the ground when Luke first notices it, because Luke's sitting in the back seat at that point.
And he goes, there's stuff coming off the back of your wing.
Yeah.
Turns out it was fuel.
Yeah, exactly how you sound.
Wait, you want to come over here and say how you said it? Come over here and say how you said it.
I wasn't.
Come over here and give us an impression. No,
I was trying to do
Luke
it.
needs to get in here, and we need to hear.
Go on, dude.
Because I feel like that you're not doing. I think
I
you're
agree.
Doing,
I'm not. I'm not. He's much better at that.
I'll insert. I'm going to put a note in the show notes, because we have basically nothing on tonight's show notes. But I'm going to put in a note to Baby Dog. I saw Baby Dog getting out of the plane.
Morgantown.
And was Baby Dog.
All right. So
Baby Dog with a police escort. So Baby Dog.
All right. So Luke, just have a seat here now.
Please recount the events that just unfolded.
Let's tell the story here.
Every bit of this is fiction.
But use the mic because I know you know how.
Yeah. How's it going, everybody? Yeah, I knew he was hyper focused. It was tense. Brian was right behind him, annoying him, and
he wasn't gaining on me though.
I was trying to discern whether I should say something, because I knew you were. Yeah, but I was like, guys, you're losing fuel.
Something spraying off the back, I think, of the words you said to me.
Yeah, we're skywriting.
You were skywriting, that's right. Or actually, more accurately, crop dusting.
I told him there might have been somebody down in the parking lot smoking a cigarette
that had a really bad day. That was awesome. Yeah. So turns out that the cap wasn't screwed all the way on. It was so it was fine. But we ended up we were just about as close to Fairmont as we were turning around and going back to Morgantown. So yeah.
But what happened on the radio?
Oh, yeah. So, okay.
Be my guest.
Okay, so it's probably a good idea, because, when we get near the field, need to say our intentions.
Yes.
Or how you're going to come in and everything. You say, like, I'm going to go ahead and do a straight in.
I'd like to get on the ground sooner than later. I've got fuel coming out of my wing. I felt like that was probably justifiable.
We heard you announce you were on a 7-mile
left base.
As you do.
Well,
like,
wait a minute.
What?
There was that 208 was doing laps in a pattern, and
there was none of that predicating information. It was just, hello, I am on a 7-mile left base,
and all I'm doing is explaining why I did what I did. For the FAA that's listening.
Well, it would have been weird. It would have been weird. It would have been weird to come on and say, Cessna 911. There's a 208 doing pattern work, so that's why I'm on a 7-mile left base to runway 23.
No, I think there should be like a sort of approved phraseology for "Okay, hear me out."
Yeah. Because meanwhile, everyone here is like, "What is this guy's problem?"
Okay, I know I'm not a Cirrus pilot, but I need to get on this 7-mile base because there's another plane doing survey work on final,
and there's fuel flying out of my left wing.
And there's fuel coming out of my left wing.
All he said is, "Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do a straight in." And Brian's like, "Okay." He's like, "Yeah, I got fuel coming off."
Right, and then
Brian, you thought that I was also getting on final.
So Brian says we're entering the left downwind, and the three of us.
No, I did not say that. I said we are maneuvering for the 45 entry to the left downwind to 2-3.
Allegedly.
And I might have added a little note in there after you said you were doing a 7-mile base. I said, which is a more traditional pattern than entry.
We all three looked at each other. He's doing what?
Yeah.
So anyway, that it was.
Brian thought we were kidding.
So then you said your response was...
My response was I got fuel coming out.
Yeah, and I thought, Mark and I were like, that is ridiculous that he's saying that.
Yes.
He's just saying that so he could
enter on a 7-mile left base. Right.
I really thought
Well-
that's what was going on. And so then I meowed.
Yes. He literally meowed.
And you didn't know that it was me meowing.
No,
so you thought
I
that
thought
there
it
was
was a
somebody
third.
else on frequency.
There was a third
meowing.
person.
There, yeah.
Well, you
No.
can't. You guys cannot come back. We will not have the 200th episode here. This
Now-
is
in one of those early calls is Mark saying Sky or Cherokee. Like, so the fact they started with Skyhawk was just
Cherokee.
Yeah, we're having a lot of that was, I think, the reason we were really starting to enjoy it. So yeah.
But yeah, so it was fun on the radio to return back to Fairmont.
Now I've got to say, Mr. Ballard says, quote, "The traffic pattern is for peasants." Ben.
Serious wannabe pilot. That's me.
Bearded Aviator followed up with, "See, what happened was," yeah. So yeah, I said ASRS, and I guess here we're getting to it. So yeah, no, I mean it was all fine. We were totally clear from that survey pilot. We were warned about him. Like, it was no big deal.
Before we get handed off from Morgantown,
and it's why we were kind of shuffling around a little bit, trying to avoid final, because he was just like right there.
he was doing 360s.
Yeah.
Like splitting the final.
Now,
That's a big plane to be tooling around down there.
I agree.
Jim at Flying Midwest says a 7-mile left final. That's one of my calls.
Yeah.
So like left finals. Yes, I appreciate those.
So. Mark, Wendell Geek, you can see the comments now, right? You're looking at it. Okay. Just so you know, you're not the only one that gets a hard time. I've got to give it to somebody. I got to pass it along.
Mark said he's only getting it from Ben, the hard comments. So yeah.
Yeah. So
well, in the spirit of we started this off with an airing of grievances.
Oh yeah,
which is a great way to celebrate the 100th.
The spirit of Festivus is alive.
Right.
Yeah.
But I just didn't know, do you guys of the small non-event people that are here, do you have any thoughts, questions, concerns, comments, considerations, or do you want to exercise your a right to silence?
Exercise.
Fifth Amendment is allowed.
Right.
Yes. Right. Yes. And we haven't identified who's here, and there's a reason for that.
They're not jumping in this dumpster fire. I can tell you that right now. No. Looks like we're kind of coming up on that, or a little bit beyond that.
Yeah, we're just fine. Yeah.
Chris, do you have anything you want to? I think do you have a plane for sale?
I've mentioned it. It's a 235.
Well, tell us about it.
Well, I'll give you the 30-second elevator pitch.
All right,
folks. If you're looking for a Cherokee 235 that you'll never have to worry about a wing spar inspection, have I got the airplane for you?
Now, between Mark and I, isn't that a stabulator pitch, not an elevator pitch?
Thank you. Thanks, Ted. Thanks a lot, Ted.
You're welcome.
This beautiful 1973 Cherokee 235, November 15152, with just 5,000 and some total hours.
Wow.
Comes in on the new Piper formula for calculated service hours at under 2,700, meaning the need for your wing spar inspection doesn't exist, although it's already had an eddy current inspection and the inspection ports installed. 800 hours on a pinion overhauled engine with nickel cylinders. All compressions north of 75. Dual G5s, 530, 430 combo, JPI 830 engine monitor. It could all be yours if the price is right.
There you go. Yeah.
It makes miles of coleslaw.
Bum, bum, ba-da.
What?
That's the pitch.
Yeah, that's...
What? You're going to explain that?
No, I'm just teasing.
Miles of
and
coleslaw?
It makes miles of coleslaw. It was like the TV, buy it, see it on TV.
No,
it's a beautiful plane. I do think it should have flaps.
Well, it's in annual right now. We're actually sitting in the flap.
So that's a selling point.
Yeah.
When they get it, it will have a fresh annual.
Yeah, fresh annual just coming out of annual.
Yeah.
Overhauled mags just now.
Yeah, looks great.
It's in great shape.
In fact, who was it that said, does it have fresh paint?
Somebody actually said,
I
said no, but it looks like it.
Yeah, I did ask that question.
Yeah.
So
it is really cool to record this from your hangar. Because it's like that's kind of like how it all started.
Believe me, I planned. This was all part of my sales tactic.
Oh yeah.
I've been planning this for months.
yes.
The long
thanks for
con.
coming, though.
Yeah.
Seriously, it was very kind of you to to come back here or to come here.
It's
to do
important
the,
for us to
do
be
the
here.
100th episode. That was
we weren't going to do this without you.
That
No,
was
that's for
super
sure.
cool, and I'm so glad that you all made the trip.
Definitely.
Yes.
What about anybody else? Anything else for the good of the order?
No,
I think we're
Thank
good.
everybody that's in this hangar right now.
Yes.
We love you all.
Yes.
We
Thank you
appreciate
for
you.
coming.
And that'll be a wrap for episode 100 of the Midlife Pilot Podcast. Good night, everybody. Because us Southern people, we're getting a little cold right now.
Yeah. So usually I didn't end it because usually we end that before, like, right after the thing. Yeah.
What?
In case you want to say anything. You know,
I take it all back.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
Goodbye. I almost
Yeah.
turned everything off just
Yeah.
now.
Oh, thanks, AJ, for the note. I'll read. Easily my favorite episode to date. Well done, gents. Thanks, AJ.
This is how we have to do it every week from now on.
Yeah, exactly.
Chris, is that cool?
Yeah. It's getting cold here. It's like 35 at night, something like that.
That was fun.
So we got the hangar door
Look,
open.
2 new members.
Wait, who's saying it's not cold? Yeah. Yeah.
Good job, Ben. Good job,
That was
Ted.
a fun.
Thanks, man.
We just got 2 new members.
Good job,
Just
Luke.
now.
Really?
Yeah.
Good job, Mark.
Can we warn them away? Yeah.
And a new order.
You're
from
doing
on the
what you're doing
merch
is
store.
wrong. Yeah. Yeah. A little after party for you, Badger. Yeah. So as Brian takes away his precious microphone. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah. I don't care. I'm just leaving it running for me, not anyone else. Yeah. So.
Night flight.
Yeah.
This was a brilliant idea on my part, by the way.
That beer?
That came like
Oh, the stand. Yeah, totally.
If you have enough, you forget about the 24-hour rule.
I don't have an airplane, so I'm good.
did we go